Hey there, YouTubers! Hi there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to the floss video. Now before you click off, you gotta answer the question for next video. That question is it human nature to want to share information about yourself? Okay? That's it. That's the question. Anyways, on today's question, what makes us human? And does that allow us, that ability, allow us to take control of the resources on this planet and manipulate in such a ways that we do? Anyways, all these philosophy videos are broken down in 3 parts. First, we have your comments, your opinions, and then we have the facts, and then finally, we go for my opinion. Let's get started into your comments. Alright, and so last week's video, you guys had lots of comments. There's 3 comments. One from Spaz McGee, one from Water Bottle, and one from Riley R. Spaz McGee commented, I think our emotions are what make us human. P.S. He built the TV stand in the background. That's this one. Not built, it was pre-bought, but then he put it together. Okay? Emotions. Alright. Next one, the water bottle. He's still talking about the swearing part, so that's our first part. I say not in court and church because you'll get exempt of court if you swear in church. It just seems wrong. Okay, that was last week's video, but, you know, whatever. Now on to what he thought about this week's question. I think what happens is, what makes us human is emotions and stuff. Humans have a whole variety of them, and they all are very different and make us all feel in all types of ways. Interesting concept, interesting concept. Riley R. commented. Now, he had to back up his last comment in the swearing video, so I'm going to go over it first, and then the last part. I said I swear as frequently as possible as to the point the words keep the original meaning. Okay. I've changed my mind on that because words have meaning for different people, based on their experiences. If you only define a word with other words, you have no foundation and words have no meaning. That's an interesting thought. Interesting thought. I mean, again, last week's video on swearing, which you should definitely go check it out. Playlist at the end of the video. Anyways, his opinion on what makes us human is, I think what makes us human is the complexity of our language. Yes, we have power over things as on this planet pretty strongly, because if we wanted to, we could end all life in a day. That's true. However, things out of the scope of Earth are still so difficult for us to effect. So he answered that second question there. And does this allow us to have power over our resources, out of resources and animals and that kind of stuff? Okay, so we had 2 for emotions, 1 for language. I don't want to give my opinion, so this is an opinion section, but Riley R, you're onto something there. But obviously, we gotta go through the facts first. Alright, now it's time for the facts. Different position because I had to screw with things. There was a hair on the lens, and I was like, gotta get rid of that. Anyways, on to the facts. So I legit just went in and typed in what makes us human into Google, and I've brought up a Psychology Today article. So they begin to first talk about how the human body is very similar to our animal counterparts. For instance, we use pig hearts, the valves from their hearts to fix our own hearts. We also use like rats and monkeys to do our medical research on, will these drugs work, effectively. However, they said what makes us different than our ancestors in the trees is our minds. Even the ancestors right before us, and the missing link there. The ancestors right before us, the other Homo, not Homo sapiens, but they're a Homo like Homo erectus. Their minds were very different than our own. Our minds have spawned, in their words here, have spawned civilizations and technologies that have changed the face of the earth, even while our closest relatives sit unobstructedly in their remaining forests. That remaining forest part's kind of sad, especially with the Amazon. But our mental capacities have allowed us to tame fire, invent the wheel. We survive by our wits, and then our minds have spawned all that other stuff. So they say our minds. Okay? And then it says people tend to have opinions about animal minds that are stark in contrast to each other. One extreme, we imbue that our pets with all manner of mental characteristics, treating them as if they were little people in furry suits. At the other, we regard animals as mindless bio-machines. Consider the ways animals are sometimes treated in the food industry. Most people Yeah. So that's one thing. People either think of animals as mindless or they think like us. They're not completely mindless to a certain extent. The more basic an animal is, like an arthropod, like a cricket, or a praying mantis, or a spider, their minds, they're the size of pinheads. They're just probably a few million neurons. They almost always act on instinct. They have a very basic nervous system. There's not much there. But compare it to, say, an elephant. Now, again, humans have the largest brain per body ratio, even whales and elephants. These massive mammals with massive brains. Their brains are quite small compared to what a human's is in proportion to their body and their mass. Anyways, so you said our emotions. I want to give my opinion, but I can't. So I went and Googled it, and elephants do in fact have emotions, and they can feel joy, anger, grief, compassion, love. This is a latest, this is a PBS article back in 2010. October of 2010. We finished the research, we've done the research, and other animals do in fact have emotions. So, that's elephants. I mean, it's hard to say what other animals do, but animals do feel emotions. Now, do they feel them the same way as us? Hard to say. Let me explain in my opinion section. So what makes us human? Here's my opinion. Okay, so this is opinion stuff here, so take it as you will. Alright, so examining this and looking at how elephants have feelings. Feelings don't make us human. We have feelings, but we can think about those feelings, if that makes sense. An elephant will feel happy. It's not going to question why it's happy, though. It knows why it's happy. It's not going to question, what is happiness? Why do I feel this way? It's not going to question it. It just knows that it's happy. And that it just knows that it is happy. And it knows why. It's not going to question it. And that's, I think Phil will back me up on that. Humans are different. Our minds allow us to ask questions. We've trained apes, and this isn't a Vsauce video, but Vsauce, one of his YouTube Red ones, but Phil would have Phil's talk. Phil and I have talked about this before, I think, on a podcast. And apes, when you've trained them to talk with sign language, but even though they can articulate full sentences, they've never asked a question. We teach them and teach them and teach them, but they never go out and ask. They have the mental capacity of like a 2-year-old. But 18-month-old humans, they ask questions. Humans are always asking questions. I remember today, my manager's like, why are you always asking questions? I'm curious. Humans are a curious species. That's why we are where we are. Oh, what happens if I rub these two sticks together? What happens if I take this jagged slab of rock, jagged slab of rock, and I smooth out the edges and put a hole in the center? Oh, you get a wheel. And this wheel allows you to move things easier. What happens if I try and, I made this circle thing out of stone. Let's put a stick through the center and put a wagon on top. And put like a sled on top. Oh wow, it moves easier now, provided the ground is relatively flat. We ask questions, and we try to find the answers for these questions. Animals don't do this. So the most mental capacity an animal could have is a 2-year-old human. In reality, they have emotions. They can communicate with us. They can do basic math. Some animals, anyways, but they can't ask. Only answer things that we taught them. Kind of like a computer. Computers don't ask questions. We ask them questions to tell us the answers to things that we taught them. Interesting how computers, faster and considered smarter than humans, aren't any smarter than an animal. It's the truth. My opinion is it's definitely our mind. It's our ability to ask questions. It's our ability to ask questions. And it's how we feel. If we're going to go off emotions. Riley R, though, when he got into the, that's the wrong video. When he said, I think what makes us human is the complexity of our language. Language doesn't make us human. We've developed language as humans. It isn't defined, but no other species has made language. There's, very few other animals can communicate with such complexity as us. So our ability to communicate this complex is a gift. And without it, we wouldn't have done what we've done. And our language, I guess, also allows us to ask questions. But we don't need language to ask questions. You can ask a question in your head and go and be curious. It's our curiosity, our thrills to ask questions. It's what drove us out of Africa and across the world. Well, what's over that hill, over that ridge? Oh, there's a greener valley with more resources, so I can have more children. And then those children are like, what's over the next valley, and so on and so forth. And the human, us as a species, expanded out, driven by curiosity. Now, can animals be curious? In a different way. I think animals are curious in the fact that I'm running out of grass here, I'm going to go find somewhere else, I'm just going to go wander until I find it, or I'll die. Period. Humans, sure, we did the same thing, except we kept going places that weren't really meant for humans. Animals, they'll go places that's meant for them, and once they get there, they'll stay there. And if they go to a place that's not meant for them, they'll go back to where they were. Humans, we're going to keep going. The animal might keep going, but it will die. Humans will adapt. That's one of our things. We can adapt, overcome, and continue to push forward. One thing we haven't been able to adapt and overcome is our own stupidity. And anyways, yeah. So make sure you answer next week's question. which is, I put my phone away. Genius me didn't read what it is. Is it human nature to want to share information about yourself? That's it. Very similar to today's question. Very similar. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and share. New philosophy videos every other Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Time, and good night.
Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Oh, you're still here? I thought I told you to go home. Oh, you want more? I'm flattered. Check out the playlist. If you want exclusive content, check out my Instagram, Dr_Sheep_YouTube. That's all lowercase. If you want to help the earth, subscribe. When I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to plant 10 trees. If you feel that's too small, then check out my channel chart where I lay out even bigger goals. Finally, stick around for the next 20 seconds to give me that sweet watch time. Bye.